Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Hayemi, second to the last Daf in Mesechas TEMURAH. So it's Daf Lamed Gimel. We are 7 lines off the top of the Yomid. So this links back to yesterday. Hamoda v'harocha, the requirement to have the animal stand up in order to be assessed in preparation for its redemption. What does that process apply to? What type of hegdish? We have 2 types that will be discussed today. Hegdish mizbeach. It's a standard korban, a korban oila, a shlamim, etc., which had been designated for offering on the mizbeach itself, which has kedushas hakuf, it's inherently holy. Then we have kosher bedek habayis, something which had been pledged, had been donated to the bedek habayis. Bedek literally means a split, the crack in the house, meaning the maintenance fund, the hegdish treasury. It's not meant for the mizbeach. It belongs to hegdish proper. So hamad v'harocha, what does it apply to? You have an animal which is blemished. You want to redeem it. Can you just redeem it? Let's say if it dies, before you actually stand up and assess it, can you just redeem it as is, based on its current value? Or does it need hamad v'harocha? It has to be alive, stand up erect to assess it. There's a big machlokes which began in the Mishnah and developed through the Gemara. We had Shitas Chachamim, Tanakama Chachamim. We had Shitas Rabbi Shimon. Now Rabbi Shimon was pretty clear in his position that Hamad v'harocha only applies to Kachim Mizbeach, not to Bedek Habayis. Whereas in the opinion of the Chachamim, that developed into a whole nother discussion. There was a difference of opinions within the Amirayim as to the position of the Chachamim in the Mishnah. We have Rabbi Yochanan who says that according to the Chachamim, Hamad v'harocha applies equally to Kachim Mizbeach as to Kachim Bedek Habayis. In both, Hamad v'harocha is a requirement prior to redemption. According to Rish Lakish, no. The Rabbanan only apply Hamad v'harocha to Kachim Bedek Habayis and not to Kachim Mizbeach, which is exactly the reverse of Rabbi Shimon's opinion, that it's limited to Kachim Mizbeach and not to Kachim Bedek Habayis. Okay, so according to the Chachamim, only Kachim Bedek Habayis, according to Rabbi Shimon, only Kachim Mizbeach. Whereas according to Rabbi Yochanan, according to Rabbi Shimon, only Kachim Mizbeach. But according to Rabbanan, it applies to both. We also added that even according to Rabbi Yochanan, that Hamad v'harocha applies to both l'shitas Chachamim. But if you have a korban which was designated for akrava, but it was a balmo meikarai, it started off as a blemished animal, it was never really fit for akrava. It started on the left foot. It was a non-starter. In that case, all agree Hamad v'harocha is not a requirement. So we begin today with a question in terms of exploring Rish Lakish's position, who says that according to the Chachamim, only Kachim Mizbeach have Hamad v'harocha, not Kachim Bedek Habayis. Only Kachim Bedek Habayis, not Kachim Mizbeach. Amar Rav Gidla Marav, my time with the Rish Lakish the Amar. L'Rabbanan, why is it Rish Lakish says that according to the Chachamim, L'Rabbanan Kachim Bedek Habayis, Hoy B'chlal Hamad v'harocha. Hamad v'harocha is limited to Kachim Mizbeach, Kachim Bedek Habayis. But Kachim Mizbeach L'Hoyu B'chlal Hamad v'harocha as opposed to Kachim Mizbeach. Sounds surprising that Kachim Bedek Habayis has that requirement and not Kachim Mizbeach. We have a pasuk Damakra. So this pasuk, which discusses Hamad v'harocha, it says like this: Damakra v'herech hakoyin oisa. The koyin assesses it. Bein toiv u bein ra. Explains Rashi around 15 lines from the top. Bein Tov and Bein Ra sounds like it doesn't really matter. Mashma echad Tov echad Ra. Whether it's Tov, unblemished, whether it's Ra, it's blemished. Same status. The Shnei Shavin, Tama Balmum. Now, what context do we not differentiate between blemished or unblemished? If it were Kachim Mizbeach, of course, it has ramifications. Big difference between blemished or unblemished, right? The unblemished belongs on the Mizbeach and not so the blemished. So why is there no difference here? Why is there no distinction? Because we're talking about a different type of Kodesh. Kodesh Bedek HaBayis. In what context is there no distinction between Tov and Ra? On which the pasuk says it needs Hamad of Aracha. And the pasuk adds the word Oisa, which has a limiting ring. Only this and something else not, Lemute, to exclude Kachim Mizbeach from Hamad of Aracha. Hence, according to the Chachamim, it only applies to Kachim Mizbeach. Rabbi Yochanan, who says that it applies to both. What does he do with the word Oisa? Lemute Mai, was it coming to exclude? Lemute Balmum Mikara? Oh. That if you have a Kachim Mizbeach which was blemished to start, in that case, certainly it does not apply. However, the Tana Devei Levi, according to the Bryce of Devei Levi, who applied even to this case, the Amar who says that Afilu Balmum Mikar, even an initial Balmum, is also covered under the Halacha B'chalal Hamad V'Aracha. The Tana Levi, as Levi taught, HaKoil Oyu B'chal Hamad V'Aracha applies to all. Afilu Balmum Mikar, even a Balmum to start. The Tana Levi Masnisi, likewise he taught in his Bryce, Afilu Chay Afilu Oifes. Chay and Oif are certainly not fit for a carbon, and still we need Hamad V'Aracha. So what does he do with Oisa? What is it coming to exclude Kasha? We'll leave it unresolved, unanswered. Now let's move over to Rabbi Shimon Shita. There's no question as to what he holds. He expresses it clearly in the Mishnah. Ha'amad V'Aracha is limited to Kachim Mizbeach and not to Kachim V'Kavayis. Omar V'Damar Rav, my time with Rabbi Shimon. Why is it so that according to him, the Omar Kachim Mizbeach were covered under the din Hayu B'Chal Hamad V'Aracha, but Kachim V'Kavayis were not covered under this din Lo Hayu the Omar Kra. Once again, back onto that same pasuk, which he learns a bit differently. Demerish Lakish the Omar Kra. V'Eracha Kain Oisav Ben Tov Ben Ra. Hamad V'Aracha applies to this case. Which case? Ezeu Dava Shechalok Ben Tov Ben Ra. So he learns that the phrase Bein Tov Bein Ra is just the opposite. There is a distinction. You have to differentiate between good and the bad, between the blemished and the unblemished. So in what context does that really matter? When is that a factor? Ezeu Davar, what type of Hegdish lends itself to this distinction of blemished versus unblemished? Shechalok ben Tov ben Ra Kachim Mizbeach, that only applies to Kachim Mizbeach. Where it's a factor at play, Kachim Mizbeach is not a factor at all. Kachim Mizbeach is not a factor at all. It just belongs to the Hegdish. Blemished, unblemished, all the same thing. It's all about value, right? So he's learning it as applied to Kachim Mizbeach. On this, the pasuk says, yes, Hamad V'Aracha only here. Oisa, only this one has L'mutei. But does not need Hamad V'Aracha. It's just the opposite of the previous Gemara. Yachi, if that will be the intent of the pasuk. That Bein Tov Bein Ra means there's a difference. There's distinction. Then why phrase it like this? Bein Tov L'Ra Miboili. The pasuk should have said it differently. That you have to distinguish between Tov and Ra, because it's consequential. Why say it Bein Tov U Bein Ra, which sounds like, well, it doesn't matter, good or bad. Kasha, we'll leave it as a kasha. Meisvei becomes a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan. So now we track back to the Chachamim Shita once again, which according to Rabbi Yochanan is that it applies to Bedek HaBayis and Mizbeach equally. We have a brisa which seems to indicate otherwise. So the brisa reads like this: Meisvei Meisu. So the Kachim that died before redemption, Tmimin, they died unblemished, in which case they were technically fit for Hakrav on the Mizbeach. So the Chachamim give it an extra a status. It was fit for akrav, it looks like a carbon. You cover, you bury it. Bali mumen yipadu. But if they were blemished, which renders them unfit for mizbeach, could be paid to them. You don't have to stand them up erect. There's no din of amad v'aracha. You know why? But what are we talking about? The kachim mizbeach, which don't need amad v'aracha. There you go. The straight out kasha Rabbi Yechanan, who says that hamada applies to kachim mizbeach as well. This price says it doesn't. Aval bekachim bedekabayis, which need hamada v'aracha, ben temimin, ben bali mumen, whether they died temimin or blemished, yikavru, burial is the only option. You can no longer redeem them. You cannot do hamada v'aracha in this state. So it would seem that according to this shita, Tanakam the Chachamim, hamada v'aracha only applies to bedek habayis. Direct contradiction of Rabbi Yechanan, who says it applies to mizbeach as well. Okay, that's one kasha. Now there's going to be another kasha from the shita of Rabbi Shimon coming up. Rabbi Shimon Aimer, echad kacha mizbeach, ve'echad kacha bedek habayis. Don't worry about them. If they died tmimim, you cover. Okay, if they died tmimim, like we said before, you have to bury them because we give them that extra status since they were fit for mizbeach. But balei mumen, if they were blemished, no problem. Just redeem them as is. In the current state, we don't need amad v'aracha yipadu. So this is another kasha because here Reb Shimon disregards the whole concept of amad v'aracha, whether it's kachim mizbeach or bedek habayis. Whereas now Mishnah, he applied it to at least the kachim mizbeach. So we have one kasha from Reb Shimon, which we're going to address later. But first, the kasha from the Rabbanan, who seem to say that hamada is only a requirement by kachim bedek habayis, not kachim mizbeach. Tiyuf to the Rabbi Yechanan Reisha. It's a kasha on Rabbi Yechanan on the first part of the brayso. Amalach Rabbi Yechanan. Let's remember, there was one example where even I agree hamada wouldn't be relevant when it was balmum meikarai. When it was balmum before you umagdash to the mizbeach. Amalach Rabbi Yechanan. That's what it's talking about. You know why there's no din of hamada v'aracha b'kachim mizbeach? Balmum meikarai. That's why it's different. In fact, I'll even prove to you that we're talking about a balmum from the start, which is exempt from hamada v'aracha. The TEMURAH shekada magdeshin asmuman, because otherwise, suppose we're speaking about a standard case where you magdish, and then only then did it become balmum. And let's assume, okay, that we're talking about that case. And Chacham say, don't need hamada v'aracha on a standard kachim mizbeach. So why doesn't Rav Shimon take them to task? Rav Shimon certainly holds that kachim mizbeach need hamada v'aracha. The fact that Rav Shimon is ignoring it, apparently we're not talking about a standard case, and that's why he's okay with it. We're like Rav Shimon Allah. Rav Shimon should take issue with it. He should challenge it. Clearly, we're talking about balmum meikarai, which is a non-issue according to all shittus. Tanakam and Rav Shimon. But a standard hegdush, standard kachim mizbeach, of course needs hamada v'aracha according to the Chacham, as per Rabbi Yechanan's opinion, in contrast to Rish Lakish, who says that according to the Chachamim there is no hamada v'aracha by kachim mizbeach. But now that we've proven, we've confirmed that the brayso in fact is implying that hamada v'aracha does apply to regular kachim mizbeach according to Chacham. Ella leima to have it to you to Rish Lakish. Now we're going to turn the tables around. It's going to be a kasha Rish Lakish, who says that according to Chacham there's no hamada v'aracha on kachim mizbeach. Rish Lakish mukim la b'shekad magdeshin asmuman. Rish Lakish will respond by saying, actually, no. The brayso is talking about a standard case. The brayso which present the shittas Chachamim. There's no hamada v'kachim mizbeach. It's talking about a standard kachim mizbeach. You made it hegdish, then you got a mum. Exactly as per my presentation of the shittas Chachamim. There is no hamada v'aracha b'kachim mizbeach. But now it's going to trigger the second kasha, because according to all opinions, Rabbi Shimon certainly applies ha'amada to kachim mizbeach. So why doesn't he take issue? Yachi nifleg Rabbi Shimon Allah. Rabbi Shimon should argue with the Chacham. You're right, according to Rish Lakish, this version, this brisa is not a reliable version. He had a different brisa which is more accurate, which is in line with his position. Rish Lakish meifach apech, he switched things around, he found a different brisa which reverses the sequence of discussion, and disregards this version of this brisa. He had a kash from a different brisa, which reads like this. Okay, let's start again. Meis, the kachim died. Bein tamimin, bein balimumin. You cover it, whether it was unblemished, whether it was blemished, you have to bury it. It's too late to do hamad of avracha. And the brisa continues, a totally different version of a brisa than the previous. Ba'med devar mamur, when does this apply to? Be'kachim be'kabayis. Perfect. According to Chachamim, hamad of avracha is only concerned by be'kabayis, out b'kachim, but by kachim is be'chipad, redeem it as is. There's no need for hamad of avracha. Perfectly in line with Rish Lakish's version of the Chachamim, that hamad is only a requirement by kachim be'kabayis. To which Reb Shimon responds, Reb Shimon Aimer, no. Tamimim yikavru b'almumin yipadu. He holds that by kachim be'kabayis, no din for hamad of avracha. And that's why he says, if it was balimum, just redeem it as is. Tamimim you have to bury, because like we said before, if it had a unblemished whole status, which theoretically can serve as a carbon, so you, out of respect, you bury it. But balimum and yipadu, there's no need for hamad of avracha be'kabayis. Now, really, Reb Shimon should have also challenged the first part. The part about kachim mizbeach. Tanakama says kachim mizbeach, just redeem it. Don't worry about hamad v'aracha. Shimon should have taken issue with that, because according to Shimon, kachim mizbeach do need hamad v'aracha. We'll get to that soon. In any case, this brisa is fully aligned with Rish Lakish's approach. That what? That according to the Chachamim, ha'amad is only applied to kachim be'kabayis, not to kachim mizbeach. They clearly say it. So it's going to be a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan, who says that hamad applies to both. Tiyufta the Rabbi Yochanan Miseifa from the second part of the bread. Amlach Rabbi Yochanan my skin malumi card. Once again, he pulls out that same card, malumi card. You know why? There's no hamad by kachim mizbeach. It's an exceptional case. It had a mum from the start. Oh, even I agree in that case. It's no issue. Hachinam mistabro. I'll even prove to you as such. Because if it's a standard hegdish, to which the Chacham say, don't worry about hamad v'aracha. But Reb Shimon should be worried about hamad v'aracha. He should take issue with that, as we just pointed out a minute ago, right? If we are talking about our standard balmum that was hegdish and then became balmum, well, fine. So Rish Lakish's perception of the Chachamim's opinion is hamad doesn't apply. But all agree that according to Reb Shimon, hamad does apply to kachim mizbeach. Why doesn't Reb Shimon state his case? Niflag Reb Shimon Allah, Reb Shimon should argue with it. So it pretty much confirms that we're talking about an unusual type of case. It was balmum to start, and that's why all agree there's no issue of hamad v'aracha. But if it was a standard case, Chacham would require hamad v'aracha. And actually, it's going to flip around as a kasha now, Rish Lakish, who says that in a standard case, Chacham do not apply hamada by kachim mizbeach. Ella lema tihavi tifsid Rish Lakish is going to be a kasha on Rish Lakish, amach Rish Lakish. No. Let's go back a step. It is a standard hegdish. The question from Reb Shimon, we'll deal with it in a minute. Amach Rish Lakish hachav ma'eskinan b'shekad magdish nesmum. No, I hold that we're talking about a regular kachim mizbeach. He was magdish it l'mizbeach when it was whole, unblemished. Then we got him. Chacham say, balmum, just redeem it even after death. There's no hamad v'aracha. Now, as to your question, why doesn't Reb Shimon challenge it? Reb Shimon holds hamad does apply to kachim mizbeach. Okay, v'niflag Reb Shimon Allah, amach Rish Lakish, he does. Hachanami, the pelag Reb Shimon. The brisa, true, only mentioned one aspect of Rav Shimon's challenge, but in fact he argues on both. Perhaps it was omitted from the Brisa, whatever, but yeah, you're right. He does argue on both. Okay, so bottom line, everything's worked out. We have Rabbi Yechan's Shita, Shlaka's Shita, each one intact, which survived all these challenges. We modified, we tinkered, we adjusted everything accordingly. Fine. So bottom line, once again, Hamad Baruch. What does it apply to? According to Rabbi Shimon, only to Kosher Mizbeach. According to Chachamim, Rabbi Yechan's view is, it applies to both, except for Balmumi Yikarei. According to Rish Lakish, only to Bedek HaBayis. Amalei Rabbi Yerim Rabbi Zera. Rish Lakish. Okay, according to Rish Lakish, Dama, who says, L'Rabbanan Kosher Mizbeach Lo Hayu B'chal Hamad Baruch? There's no Hamad by Kosher Mizbeach. Uktani. Look at the Brisa again. Kosher Mizbeach, we taught on the base. Bali Mumin Yipad. So the Kosher Mizbeach, which are Balamum, just redeem them. Umuk Minulam, we've learned that we're talking about a standard Hegdish. B'shakad Magdish Moment, you Magdish it. It got elevated to Shak Dush Sakov, was fit for a carbon, then it got a mum. So at this point, if it dies, nobody can touch it. I mean, it's not edible, it's asr. It's a carbon that died. So what's the purpose of redeeming it? There's only one avenue, only one destination, the dogs. So can we deduce from here that you're allowed to do that? You could redeem a carbon for the dogs, which is a huge discussion in many places. Is that true? No, forget about death. It never died. He transgressed, he went and shechted. He shouldn't have shechted, he shechted it. So if it's died as a carcass, nobody could eat it, but he shechted it, so it's mutar b'achila. If you redeem it now. Because the Sanya, as we learned in the Brisa, so kol hakotch mishnafel behen mumashchat, and a carbon which got a woman, fellow shechted it without asking. Rameir miyikavru. So Rameir goes with the shita of, Reb Shimon, that Kosher Mizbeach need to be assessed properly. You can't do that here. Chum say, just redeem it in line with the Shittas of Chum in the Mishnah. There's no Hamad Baruch by Kosher Mizbeach, so it's not going to the dogs. It's going to be fit for private consumption. Okay, Amalei Rabbi Yerim Rabbi Zera. Another question. L'Rabbi Shimon. The Amar, Kosher Mizbeach HaBayis, Lo Hayu B'chal Hamad Baruch. According to Reb Shimon, Hamad Baruch does not apply to Kosher Mizbeach HaBayis. Amai Timimim Yikavru. So back in the Brisa we learned that if the animal died unblemished, you have to bury it. What's the issue? Just redeem it now as it is. Oh, as we explained before, technically you could, but Chachamim granted it special status, because at some point in the process it was fit for hakrava, because even a carbon, an animal which is donated to Bedek HaBayis, if it's unblemished and fit for Mizbeach, you meant to direct it to Mizbeach. You sell it to somebody that needs it for a carbon, etc. So since it has that potential for Mizbeach, we treat it with special respect. Because it was fit for hakrava. The Sanis you find in the Brisa, matvis, tmimim, lebedek HaBayis. If one takes an unblemished animal and donates it to Bedek HaBayis, Kshay Niftin, when you go and redeem it, you try to get it redeemed in a manner that it will eventually end up on the Mizbeach. Kshay Niftin, Eina Niftin el Mizbeach, you only redeem it for the Mizbeach. So you find a customer that needs it for the Mizbeach, and you send it in that direction. You're not meant to redeem it for personal private use. Which something which is fit for the Mizbeach, any yes Mizbeach Allah is it can't leave the Mizbeach forever. So you have to go ahead and find a customer and needs it for akrav. What do we see from here? Even a Bedek HaBayis owned animal, if it's fit for Mizbeach, it's meant to go in that direction. And since it has that potential, we give it special status, special honor and respect, and if it died, just bury it because of its, carbon element within it. Another question. Some say it was a question posed l'Rava. L'Rabbi Yochanan, du mukim lo, b'balmo meikare. Rabbi Yochanan, if you recall, understood that the Bryce is talking about an unusual case, and that's why there's no mother aracha b'kachim mizbeach, because it's a balmo meikare, it was blemished before you even magdish it, so never got too far on the road. V'kuli alma svirlu. And according to his approach, all opinions will hold. The Balmo Meikarai, till they have it. Even Rabban and everybody holds, there's no Mad Varacha Balmo Meikarai. But really? According to Chacham, there's no Mad Varacha in this case, but now we have a Mishnah back in Mesechas Becharis, which has two parts. Part one of the Mishnah says like this: Kol HaKachim, every carbon, Shekada Mum Kavod Lactation. This is Mamash our case. It was blemished prior to having been designated as a carbon, so it never really achieved Kedushas HaGuf, never got inherently Kaddish, only for its value, right? It's meant to be sold, and its money used to buy a carbon. Vinifta, when you redeemed it, this animal is back on the farm now. It never got too far in the process, so once it's redeemed, it's back home, like any other animal. It gives birth, Chayav and Bechor, V'matanois, you shechted the parts that go to the koyin, right? Like any other animal, you send it back to the farm, to share, to work with it. V'ladan v'chalav, like any other animal. V'ladan v'chalav and mutach abdiyan, if you redeem it, the milk, the offspring are all fine. Ashechtem mechutz potter, and if one should shechted outside of Beis Hamikdash before redemption, he's not liable for the isra of shchutei chutz. He's potter because it's not really a carbon. Beinos and TEMURAH can't make a TEMURAH. Doesn't have all those abilities. Oh, v'meisu yipadu. If it dies before redemption, no problem, redeem it now. You don't need a Mad Varach. Why? Balmo Meikare. Never got to first base. But it doesn't seem to be so simple. It doesn't seem to be universal. Vamar Vidam Rav. What does Rav tell us? Zudiv Rab Shimon. This is Rab Shimon's opinion. Only. The Amar Kochem Mizbeach Hayu B'chal Mad Varacha. V'Kochem B'Tekavayis Lo Hayu B'chal Mad Varacha. The reason why you can just redeem it without worry, without standing him up and assessing it, without doing Amad Varacha, is because it's Reb Shimon's opinion that Amad Varacha is only by Kachim Mizbeach, not Kachim B'Lekabayis. And this is like Kachim B'Lekabayis because it never got to the point of being potentially a carbon. It was about Balmum to start. So according to that opinion, it works. Kedisnan, as we learned by us in Mesechas TEMURAH a day ago, Rabbi Shimon Omer, Kachim B'Lekabayis, don't worry about Kachim B'Lekabayis, just redeem it. B'moed Rabbi Shimon, Balmo Meikare Shenifta. And just like by B'Lekabayis, you don't need a Mad Varacha. Same thing with Kachim Mizbeach, which was a Balmo Meikare. Same status. My time and why? The Makra. Because the Pasuk, in speaking about Mad Varacha, says, Oisa, right? Oisa, Lemute, to exclude Balmo Meikare. That's all good and well according to Rabbi Shimon. Aval Chachamim Ayimre, but the Chachamim disagree. They apply it even to Balmo Meikare. Afilu Balmo Meikare b'chal Mad Varacha, it also requires a Mad Varacha. A direct conflict with Rabbi Yochanan, who says that according to Chachamim as well, there's no Mad Varacha by Balmo Meikare. So why did he have to label that Mishnah in accordance with the Chachamim, according to Rabbi Shimon only? Even the Chacham would agree. Part one of that Mishnah fits with them as well. Balmo Meikare, there's no need for Mad Varacha. Amalisi responded, Man Chacham Talmud Bavli. You're right. The Chachamim of our Mishnah Daf Lamed Beis are in full agreement with Rabbi Shimon in this regard. It's Talmud Bavli, which you had before, who disagree, who are left out of this equation, because according to them, even Balmo Meikare needs a Mad Varacha. Yachi, if that's so, why did Rav have to say Zudiv Reb Shimon v'sulay? It's only Reb Shimon speaking and no one else. There are many others on the same bandwagon. Zudiv Reb Shimon u'machlukasai. They should have said this is Reb Shimon and his disputants. Meaning even the Chachamim in our Mishnah Daf Lamed Beis are on his track that Balmo Meikare is exempt from Hamad Varacha. Amar Leis, he says, the reason why he didn't say it like this, the reason why he did not relate the Mishnah in Bechoros in line with the Chachamim as well, not because of part 1 of the Mishnah. That would be fine. It's because of the next part of the Mishnah that was not in line with the Chachamim. You know why? And now it circles back to our sugya. We had Rish Lakish's opinion of the Chachamim, which was Hamad Varacha is strictly on Bedek HaBayis, not Kachim Mizbeach, right? But if you take a close look at the Mishnah in Bechoros that we just quoted, it says, later on in the in part B of the Mishnah, there speaks about a standard, carbon that got a mum later, and it says, look, if it died, you have to bury it. Why? Because you cannot do Amad Haracha, which is a requirement of Kachim Mizbeach, which is not consistent with the Chachamim, according to Rish Lakish's presentation of the Shittas Chacham, that no Amad Haracha Kachim Mizbeach. That's why he did not want to identify that Mishnah in line with the Chachamim, because of the second part of the Mishnah. Normally, Haidlich Katani Hachi, Mishum the Rav Salak Rish Lakish, Rav issued the statement that the Mishnah in Bechoros is going according to Chachamim. He was like Rish Lakish's presentation of the Chachamim. The Amar L'Rabban Kacha Bedek HaBayis is only Hayu Bichlal Amad Haracha, but not Kachim Mizbeach. Mizbeach Lo Hayu Amad Haracha. So, true, granted, part A of that Mishnah works according to Chachamim. But to start, there's no Amad Haracha. Just redeem it. But the Sefer Ktonim Mesu cover the second part of that Mishnah, which we hadn't really quoted out right, but the second part there is talking about a standard carbon, which became a Balmum later, says bury it. Hamad Haracha. Oh, that's not going to work according to Chachamim. That's why he avoided the Chachamim. Another approach. Rav could be spirit. No, Rav issued the statement identifying that Mishnah in Bechoros in line with Rav Shimon only, not the Chachamim. In fact, we'll follow Rabbi Yechon's opinion of the Chachamim, that Amad Haracha applies to both. Okay, so then what's the problem? So that Mishnah is fully consistent with the Chachamim. Part A is consistent with the Chachamim. We're talking about Balmum Be'ikaras, no Amad Haracha. Part B, which says there is Amad Haracha, is again like the Chachamim. That Amad Haracha applies to Kosher Bech as well. So why didn't Rav say that? That the Mishnah is going with Rav Shimon and his disputants. Even the Chacham can identify with that Mishnah. You're right, Emachanami. We have to revise the statement from Rav that in fact it follows both shittas. Perfect. Okay. Hamad Haracha. According to Rav Shimon, only Kachim Mizbeach. Yeah, a pasuk, Bein Tov and Bein Ra, referring to Kachim Mizbeach, where there's a distinction between Tov and Ra, where Mum and no Mum is a factor at play. Shittas Chachamim, well, according to Rabbi Yechon, applies to both. Rish Lakish only to Kachim Bedek HaBayis. All agree, if it's a Balmum Be'ikarai, is no Amad Haracha. We also had an interesting point that even if it's Kachim Bedek HaBayis, but if it was a Tamim and then died, you should bury it out of respect, because ultimately it was meant for a korban, indirectly. And we had to resolve some brises, went to Rech and Rish Lakish, and likewise coordinated with the Mishnah in Bechoros, and see on whose track it is. Okay, we'll continue with Hashem tomorrow. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.